Allison, I need to know if this counts as a full-blown wardrobe malfunction or not that I experienced on Saturday afternoon into the evening. So I get dressed up for, I usually average about one event a year that I need to get dressed up in a shirt and tie for. And this weekend was that event, the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters Awards, okay? So anyway, I had not worn my dress shoes, my black dress shoes, in 2 years, because last year my event was kind of a surprise event that I went to and I needed a shirt and tie for. Didn't have my shoes because I was traveling, so I had to get a different pair of shoes altogether or something. Anyway, not important. I get all ready. I get dressed with my shirt, my tie, my jacket. Last thing I need to do, I even tied a tie. I learned how to do that with YouTube over the weekend. So last thing I need to do is put my dress shoes on. So I get them out of my closet, and they have not moved from the spot that they were in 2 years, legitimately 2 years. So I go to put them on, and I start hearing a weird sound. They're like real stiff. It's almost making a sound like if you can imagine if you let a paint brush dry and the paint's still on the bristles and then kind of break it apart, that snapping sort of noise, sort of making that noise. So I'm like, this doesn't seem good. I take my shoe off of my foot. I look under it, and the sole has completely split. Like the rubber sole of the shoe, like dry rotted, and it was no longer rubber. It was a really brittle plastic at that point. Yeah. I had no idea that time could ruin a pair of shoes like that, but it sure did. Yeah. My wardrobe malfunction was then I had to wear brown dress shoes, but my suit was black.
I would say that's a little bit more of a faux pas or a foxy poxy, as you like to say. I wouldn't call that a wardrobe malfunction. Now, if you would have gone to the awards and then the soles would have started breaking off as you were there, that would be a wardrobe malfunction.
So my question is, have you ever gone for an article of clothing that has maybe been in your closet for a while, but you have an event that you want to go to with it, and realized that time had ruined your article of clothing? What was the article of clothing?
It wasn't an event that I went to, but there was a swimsuit that I bought either my junior or senior year of high school from American Eagle. It was so cute. It was kind of like a camo print with like a pink trim. Like the color looked really good on my skin. And I don't know, it was a very flattering swimsuit. Loved that swimsuit. Had it for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I would wear it summer after summer. And finally one summer I went to go put it on in college, and the elastic had just completely gone. It was not holding on for anything. And so like I couldn't really get the swimsuit to fit anymore. And it was devastating to be like, all right, it's finally time. Like I have to let this go. But it crushes me that elastic like does not last. Yeah. It dies with time. So there's plenty of things that I've had to throw away because there was elastic in it, and the elastic just goes bad.
I guess it's a similar concept to the rubber soles of my dress shoes that just dry rotted out. Talking wardrobe malfunctions, kind of. Basically, if time caused an article of clothing to be ruined, not the fact that you just wore the t-shirt too much and wore a hole into it or anything like that, because I went to put on a pair of dress shoes that I hadn't worn in like 2 years. I think now I'm going to have to start treating my shoes the way people treat their old antique cars and start them up every once in a while. Because I'm wondering if my shoes still would have dry rotted to the point where the rubber sole just completely split in half if I would have given them a little bit of use every once in a while.
No, I have a feeling maybe you just need to invest. If you want them to last, maybe you need to invest a little more in some better quality shoes. I have a feeling you probably bought the cheap option. And guess what? The cheap option isn't going to last you years and years and years and years.
I don't know. I mean, I bought them well over 10 years before they dry rotted.
Right.
So what are people saying on the text line about time ruining an article of clothing?
So Brentlyn was in a pageant, and for her pageant dress, the top part, the bodice part, as you would say, was like newer, but the skirt part, the bottom, was an older material. She accidentally tripped over it and it ripped.
Oh no.
Devastating. Right in the middle of a pageant too.
I wonder where it ripped. Like was it just a rip like towards the bottom of it? Did the whole entire bottom come off? Like, oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
It does sound like a nightmare.
601-9 607-995-1017. This is an interesting story from Leanne. She said, it's not an article of clothing going bad, but I can tell you this. I had some winter boots that I absolutely loved. Over the spring and summer, I had a back injury and went to the chiropractor's office. Then whenever I went to put the boots back on in the winter, the soles of one of them felt weird. It's because when you go to a chiropractor, they level your hips and your legs. So when you go back to wear shoes that you haven't worn in a while, they don't fit the same. I never would have imagined that.
I mean, I knew that, but I feel like I need the name of your chiropractor, Leanne, because my hips and back and everything, I got scoliosis. I'm all out of whack. So I'd be nervous about having to get new shoes, but I can't believe that it worked that well that her shoes didn't fit the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Is the only reason you want to do that so you have an excuse to have to get completely new shoes? All new shoes?
No, because I love my shoes right now.
601-995-1017. If you've ever went to put on a piece of clothing that you hadn't worn in a while and it just disintegrated in your hands because it had been sitting for so long.
The worst. I know people who they get hand-me-down wedding dresses, vintage wedding dresses, and if you don't store them properly, the same thing can happen to them. And I know one of my friends, she was trying to wear her mom's wedding dress for her wedding, and because it wasn't stored properly, she went to go put it on and it just fell apart.
Oh no.
So she ended up, I think, incorporating a small part of that dress into her dress, but still not the same, right?
I wonder how they did that too. Did they just grind up the dress and make new thread out of it? I don't know.